Unfortunately, I've accidentally cut myself many times using a utility knife, and supposedly these power cutters are supposed to be way faster and safer. So let's get the testing underway and see which brand is the best. In the first test, we'll see which one cuts through cardboard the fastest. Then we'll compare performance on plexiglass. And some of the cutters are going to really struggle cutting through MDF. At a price of $26 is this Gartol brand. They claim it can cut through plastic, carpet, fabric, leather, and more. We're going to test that. They claim the motor makes 11,000 RPM. It's supposed to make a very smooth and straight cut. It comes with a rechargeable 3.6-volt lithium battery. It's very light at less than 1 pound. They claim it's even pretty quiet at less than 70 decibels. We're going to test that. And the Gartol is made in China. Weight is sometimes an indicator of quality, and the Gartol weighs 383 grams. And the Gartol reached a peak no-load RPM of 238. Let's compare performance cutting through cardboard. And 2.77 seconds on the first cut is so much better than a utility knife. And the Gartol is finished with the next 2 cuts with an average speed at 2.44 seconds. At a price of only $30 is this WorkPro brand. They claim it has a 2,000 milliamp hour battery. They also claim a blade speed of 280 RPM. They claim you can safely cut through fabric, leather, carpet, and even metal. The Gartol is a
Is this a cardboard cutter tier list?
3.6-volt system, and the WorkPro is a 4-volt system. And the WorkPro is made in China. And it's 379 grams for the WorkPro. And the WorkPro is pretty quiet at 68.6 decibels. And it's 280 RPM for the WorkPro. And the WorkPro makes a lot more RPM than the Gartol and is making a very smooth cut through the cardboard without snagging. And the 1.53 average cut speed will be very hard to beat. At a price of $35 is this Black & Decker brand. They claim it has up to 40 minutes of runtime. It uses a 4-volt system and can be charged with a USB charging cord. It comes with a self-sharpening blade. You can cut objects that are up to 1/4 inch thick. And the Black & Decker is made in China. And the Black & Decker is the heaviest yet at 401 grams. And it's 74.2 decibels for the Black & Decker. And the Black & Decker
Why is the wheel built like that?
RPM.
Is it good
Just
for,
like the
for
Gartol,
cardboard?
the Black & Decker's blade guard is dragging and catching on the cardboard,
yeah,
making
that looks
the cut
like
feel rough
shit.
and interrupted. And an average cut speed of 2.31 seconds is good enough to move into second place. At a price of $36 is this SnapFresh brand. It'll cut through cardboard, leather, paper, plastic packaging, canvas, and more.
Nah, it looks cheap as fuck.
They claim it weighs 0.87 pounds. And the SnapFresh is made in China.
The metal looks better,
it even
though.
comes with a replacement blade. The safety switch on both sides of the handle make this ideal for both left and right-hand users. The previous power cutters use USB-C to charge the tool, but this one uses a special power cord. And it's 399 grams for the SnapFresh. And the SnapFresh is right at 78.8 decibels. With a fully charged battery, 220 RPM for the SnapFresh. And the SnapFresh feels smoother than the Gartol.
Wait a minute now.
Not as smooth as the WorkPro. And 1.96 seconds on average is pretty good. At a price of $36,
Wait, that one's cooked hard.
Brand. The Saker also uses a 4-volt rechargeable battery. They claim up to 35
okay,
minutes
that's
of continuous
cheap
cutting.
make.
They claim even more RPM than some of the other brands at 320. Unlike the other brands, this one also includes an LED light. And the Saker is made in China. And the Saker weighs 370 grams. And the Saker's pretty quiet at 73.5 decibels. And the Saker reached a peak RPM of 268.
Wait, this one's gonna cook.
The Saker feels even smoother than the SnapFresh, and it's also cutting faster than the SnapFresh at 1.74 seconds on average to move into second place behind the WorkPro.
The pink one didn't stagger like that though.
At a price of $40 is this EVC ITN brand. Let's just call it the EV brand. They claim it has a 2,000 milliamp hour battery. You can charge it with a Type-C charging port. Just like the Saker, it does have a light. They claim a cutting speed of 340 RPM. It even comes with an extra blade. And the EV brand is made in China. And it's 421 grams for the EV. And EV is right at 77 decibels.
With a light too?
And EV makes the most RPM yet at 314. And the EV makes plenty of blade speed, but unfortunately, the blade guard is catching and dragging on the cordboard pretty badly. And 1.91 seconds is good enough to move into third place. And both the outside and the inside of the blade guard are causing the cut to feel rough and interrupted. At a price of $40 is this Z Tools brand. They claim excellent cutting performance at speeds up to 260 RPM. The tool weighs just over 1 pound. They claim you can cut through corrugated cardboard, flower stems, double thick polar fleece, denim, and more. It even comes with an extra blade. And the Z Tools is made in China. And the Z's by far the
metal looks pretty high quality.
73 grams. And it's right at 76.9 decibels for the Z. And the Z is by far the fastest yet at 509 RPM.
Maybe too fast.
And the Z is definitely smoother than the EV, but not as smooth as the WorkPro. And the Z is holding pretty good blade
I knew
speed.
it's
Has
shit.
an average cut time of 2.41 seconds.
Nope, that's garbage.
The price of $40 is this Warrior brand, which is sold at Harbor Freight. Now that's what I'm talking about. So much better than a utility knife. They claim it comes with a dependable, long-lasting 1.5 amp-hour lithium-ion battery. They claim it cuts through almost
Yeah, they
anything,
copied
handling
the
jobs that scissors
design,
and
though.
knives can't. Extra blades included.
No.
Ergonomic and lightweight for easy control. And the Warrior
This is some
is
drop
made in
ship
China.
garbage.
And the Warrior is even heavier than the Z at 475 grams. And the Warrior is pretty loud at 78.6 decibels.
It's gonna be
and
shit.
the Warrior is pretty fast at 480 RPM. And the Warrior is even smoother and faster than the Z. And the Warrior moves into second place behind the Work Pro with an average speed of 1.58 seconds. At a price of $44 is this Works brand. They claim that the Work Zip Snip is a cordless electric scissor. It's supposed to have a powerful
Tacky a little
4-volt
bit,
electric motor.
but
You can cut through several things up to 1/4 inch thick. It does require a specialized charger which comes in the kit. And the Works is made in China. And it's 413 grams for the Zip Snip. And the Zip Snip is right at 75.5. And the Work Zip Snip is pretty zippy at 487 RPM.
It's gonna suck.
And this thing is called Zip Snip for a reason. And the Zip Snip is the smoothest and the fastest yet at only 1.41 seconds. Very impressive. At a price of $44 is this S&F brand. They claim a fantastic value with a price of 3 for 1. It includes a power cutter, a screwdriver, and a screwdriver with a 90-degree angle. Maximum cutting thickness is a 1/4 inch. They claim it even comes with overload protection. And the S&F is
a weird
made in
handle,
China.
though.
And the S&F weighs 524 grams. 73 decibels
Heavy.
for the S&F. And the S&F is pretty slow at only 262 RPM. The handle on the cutters isn't as ergonomically designed
Yes,
and
yeah, I
feels
knew it.
uncomfortable. And the S&F has an average speed of 2.03
No, I was right.
seconds. At a price of $46 is this Vloxo brand. They claim the electric motor delivers up to
Ew.
10,000 RPM. They claim you can cut as fast as a bird
Ew.
flies. We're going to test that. They claim it can be used for 3 to 4 hours continuously. It even comes with the second cutting head. You can even cut carpet. And the Vloxo is made in China. And the Vloxo is very light at only 279 grams. And the Vloxo is the loudest yet at 81.9 decibels. And the Vloxo isn't nearly as fast as the Work Pro in the Works, but is still performing well. And the Vloxo is slower than most of the other brands at 2.5 seconds on average. At a price of $50.
Also, look at that. Look at what he's
and the
doing.
Vloxo is slower than most of the other brands.
That's awful. Yucko. Terrible.
It's at 2.5 seconds on average. At a price of $56 is this Fantic brand. They claim it's equipped with a high magnet motor for powerful performance, boosting cutting power by 15%. It even has a pretty bright LED light. It includes 3 different cutting speeds.
Whoa,
They claim a high
whoa,
cutting speed
whoa.
of 250 RPM. They say it offers 40 minutes of continuous runtime. And the Fantic is made in China. And the Fantic weighs 471 grams. And it's 73.8 decibels for the Fantic. On the highest speed setting, 233 RPM. And the blade guard on the Fantic is dragging and catching on the cardboard quite a bit, but not as badly as the EV. And the Fantic is slower than average at 2.39
Stupid ass
seconds.
plastic
At a
casing
price of
around it.
$70 is this Ryobi brand. It comes with one 2 amp hour battery. It's supposed to deliver 270 RPM, up to a 6.4 millimeter cutting capacity. The removable USB lithium battery is compatible with other Ryobi products. And the Ryobi is made in China. And it's 474 grams for the Ryobi. And the Ryobi's pretty quiet.
I don't mind
at
that
only
it's
69.6
ergonomic.
decibels. And it's 434 RPM for the Ryobi. And the Ryobi is holding pretty good blade speed, but the blade guard is making the cut feel rough and interrupted.
That's
However,
terrible.
1.88 seconds is faster than most of the other brands. At a price of $72 is this One Van brand. It's a cordless metal shear. Heavy-duty scissors for cutting metal, iron, stainless steel, carpet, and cardboard. It comes with two 21-volt, 1,500 milliamp hour batteries.
yeah, it's
It
no
comes
shot,
with a
though.
360-degree swivel head. It has a 2-speed transmission. It can be adjusted to the desired position for comfortable cutting. And the One Van is made in China.
That's
and the
gonna be
One
terrible.
Van's pretty heavy at 1,587 grams. And it's 81.2 decibels for the One Van.
It's gonna like torque
Cutting the
it and it's gonna
cardboard with
twist.
The One Van is definitely overkill, but it's making a pretty smooth and straight cut. And the One Van is by far the slowest in the lineup with a 3-cut
Actually
average
not.
time of 5.17 seconds. At a price of $80 is this Skill brand. Unlike the other brands, the
This is
Skill
getting
uses
expensive
a 12-volt
now.
system. It also comes with a 2 amp hour battery and a charger. It cuts a variety of materials including cardboard, carpet, leather, and vinyl. It also has a self-sharpening blade. And the Skill is made in China. And the Skill is pretty heavy at 792
Feels like a bit
grams.
overkill on
and the
the,
Skill is right at
on the bezel.
76.7 decibels. And the Skill is the fastest yet at 541 RPM. And the Skill is very smooth and has by far the fastest cut speed yet at 1.38 seconds. Very impressive. Having a 12-volt battery definitely helps quite a bit. At a price of $139, the most expensive multi-cutter we'll be testing is made by Makita.
Oh, Makita,
Just
base
like the
that.
Skill, the Makita uses
Please.
a 12-volt system. You can cut through carpet up to a 1/4 inch thick. Self-sharpening blade ensures maximum cutting efficiency. They say it weighs only
Chat.
1.6 pounds with the battery for reduced operator fatigue. The kit includes the battery and the charger. And the Makita is made in China. And it's
Wait, no, I got the
725
Milwaukee here.
grams for the Makita. And the Makita is at 74.2 decibels. And the Makita is the fastest yet at 560 RPM.
Chat. Milwaukee or Makita?
And Makita is definitely
Or
the
DeWalt.
ultimate cardboard cutter with an average
Honestly,
speed
I think
of
DeWalt fell off.
1.19
I'm just gonna
seconds.
say it.
Impressive. So the Makita came out on top with the fastest cutting speed of 1.19
Yeah, Milwaukee goes
seconds on
heavy.
average. Skill finished in second place at 1.38 and Work Zip Snip third at 1.41 seconds. So the Makita makes the most no-load RPM at 560. Skill finished in second place at 541 RPM and Z third at 509. Cardboard is relatively soft and easy to cut through. With the new utility blade, the utility knife is really struggling and isn't able to cut through the plexiglass.
I actually like it.
However, it did cause
Hardware tools reviews.
And the guard
This is
tool
kinda
did a
fun,
much better job of cutting through the plexiglass compared to the utility knife with an average speed of 1.67 seconds. However, the blade guard did get hung up on the plexiglass a couple of times. And the Work Pro continues to perform better than the Gartol for cutting speed, and the blade guard isn't getting in the way nearly as much. And 1.17 seconds is going to be hard to beat. Unfortunately, Black & Decker really needs to revisit the blade guard design. It's snagging the plexiglass quite a bit and causing a pretty rough cut. And 1.57 seconds on average is about the same as the Gartol. And the blade guard on the Snap Fresh is catching on the plexiglass far worse than the previous three brands. And 2.86 seconds on average is over a second slower than the competition. And there's a small amount of interference from the Saker's blade guard hitting the plexiglass, but not nearly as much as the Snap Fresh. And a cutting speed of 1.6 seconds is pretty average. And the blade guard of the EV struggled on the cardboard and is really struggling once again this time. And 2.34 seconds is quite a bit slower than average. A much better blade guard design with the Zeet, and it's not getting hung up on the plexiglass. And 1.2 seconds is only 3/10 of a second slower than the Work Pro. And the Warrior looks a lot like the Zeet, and it's performing about the same as the Zeet as well. The blade guard only hit a snag just once with a very fast average cutting speed of 1.41 seconds. And the Zip Snip also has a very nicely designed blade guard and only hit a snag just one time, just like the Warrior. And 1.36 seconds is a little bit faster than the Warrior. And the blade guard on the SNF
that seems like the best of both worlds, though.
The entire cut.
Yeah, the Zip seems gonna dank it.
Average at 1.95 seconds. It's really an apples to oranges comparison, but the blocks are made a very nice
Wait a minute now.
with an average cutting speed
That's
of
a game changer.
seconds. And the blade guard on the Fantic is really getting in the way. And 1.77 seconds is pretty close to the average cutting speed for the other brands. Unfortunately, the blade guard on the Roby is also interfering with the cut. And the Roby is a little slower than average at 1.86 seconds. And the One Van seems very well designed for thin, dense material like plexiglass. And the One Van made three very nice and smooth cuts with an average speed of 1.49 seconds. And the high RPM skill makes more than enough blade speed for fast cuts, but the blade guard is getting in the way at times. And 0.95 seconds is the fastest time yet. The Makita's blade guard is less of a problem than most of the other brands, but it's also getting hung up at times. And 1.29 seconds on average is a pretty quick speed. Blade guard interference really slowed down some of the brands, but the skill has the fastest cutting speed once again at 0.95 seconds. So the very affordable Work Pro finished in second place at 1.17 seconds and Z third at 1.2. Assessing power cutter design for snag-free cutting is highly subjective, and the Vlogster and the One Van came out on top with the best possible rating of 1. The Work Pro Zeet, Warrior, and Work Zip Snip also perform well with a rating of 1.5. MDF can be very challenging to cut. With a new blade in the utility knife, it took me 3 attempts to cut through this 2.29 millimeter thick board. And the Gartol doesn't produce a lot of RPM, but it does make a lot of torque. And the Gartol lost a lot of blade speed and it never stalled, which is pretty impressive. And 2.37 seconds on average is a pretty good cutting speed. Cutting through this MDF is asking a lot of these compact power cutters. And the Work Pro produces a lot of RPM, which allows for a very fast cut through most materials, but the MDF is a little too dense for the Work Pro. And the Work Pro has an average cutting speed of 4.69 seconds. And the Black & Decker is really struggling to produce enough torque to cut through the MDF. And the blade only came to a stop one time during the first attempt. However, as the tool heated up, I really struggled to keep the blade turning on the second and third cuts. And the Black & Decker really struggled with an average cutting speed of 15.52 seconds. And the Snap Fresh doesn't make a lot of blade speed, but it does make pretty decent torque. And it's 5.46 seconds on the first cut. I pushed the Snap Fresh even harder on the second cut, and it survived without stalling at 2.82 seconds. And it's 2.98 seconds on the third cut for an average cutting speed at 3.75. And the Saker is also losing a lot of RPM trying to cut through the MDF. And 3.5 seconds on the first cut is pretty good, but the Saker is losing even more blade speed on the second cut. Unfortunately, I pushed the Saker too hard on the pass and the Saker stalled. So 5.69 seconds on average is about half the speed of the Gartol. And the EV makes over 500 no-load RPM, but it doesn't make enough torque to cut through the MDF efficiently. And the EV's blade guard seems to be causing pretty significant blade pinch. This power cutter could definitely benefit from an improved blade guard design. And the EV is finally finished in 22.7 seconds. And the Zeet has delivered fast cutting speeds on the cardboard and the plexiglass, but it's really struggling with the MDF. And I could have pushed the Zeet even harder on the first cut, and it's finally finished in 10.58 seconds. I went ahead and put...
Why, he cut himself? Man.
Pushed the Zete on the second cut a little bit harder, and it didn't stall, making the cut in 6.38 seconds. And the third cut is the fastest of the three at 2.98 seconds. Since the Zete and the Warrior look almost identical, I pushed the Warrior harder from the start. And the Warrior made the first cut in 2.67 seconds and the second cut in 2.1 seconds. And the third cut is the fastest of the three at 2.05 seconds. And the Zip Snip made very quick and easy work of the cardboard and the plexiglass, but it's just not well designed for heavy materials like this MDF. And the Zip Snip stalled several times throughout the cut, but is finally finished in 10.22 seconds. And the second cut took almost twice as long at 19.2 seconds. Since it took so long, I'll skip the third attempt. And I pushed the SNF a little too hard on the first cut and it stalled the cutting wheel. And it's 4.9 seconds on the first cut. As the SNF heated up, it slowed down, and the second cut took even longer than the first at 7.74 seconds. So that's 6.32 seconds on average. And the Vloxo seems well designed for this test and made the first cut in 3.91 seconds, but it has more speed left in it. And I pushed the Vloxo harder on the second cut, and 1.89 seconds is the fastest time yet. And it's 2.1 seconds on the third cut, which is still pretty good. And the Fantic produces a lot of torque, but not much blade speed. And the blade guard is really dragging pretty badly, but the Fantic is the fastest in the lineup with an average cutting speed of 1.53 seconds. And the Roby makes a lot of torque and easily powered through the MDF the fastest yet with an average speed of only 0.79 seconds, the best yet. And the One Van seems very well designed for this test and made very easy work of the MDF with an average cutting speed at right at 1 second. And the skill continues to impress with its high torque and high blade speed, making the fastest pass yet and right at a half a second. Very impressive. And the Makita seems very well designed for cutting through cardboard. Unfortunately, the Makita doesn't produce enough torque for heavy materials like MDF. And the Makita stalled over and over, but it's finally finished in 22 seconds. I pushed each of the power cutters faster and faster through each of the 3 attempts. Going with the fastest of the 3 attempts, the skill came in on top once again at 0.5 seconds. Roby finished in second place at 0.7 seconds, and One Van third at 0.86. A utility blade will make easy work of cutting through carpet, but it's pretty easy to accidentally cut on past the carpet and into an object below the carpet. The power cutters are well designed to prevent this from happening. And the power cutters with the higher blade speeds did perform better on this test. Unfortunately, the Vloxo is not well designed for cutting carpet and became plugged with carpet fibers. On the other hand, the One Van electric scissors performed well and did not become plugged like the Vloxo. I also tested the power cutters on a rubber mat, and all the power cutters performed well with the high blade speed cutters having a very small speed advantage. In the final test, I cut through some aluminum flashing, and pretty much all the cutters made easy work of the flashing. Once again, the skill came out on top at 0.3 seconds. The Zete and the Warrior tied for second place at 0.5 seconds. Assessing performance cutting through aluminum flashing is highly subjective, but once again, the Vloxo and the One Van came out on top with the best rating of 1. However, the Zete, Warrior, Works, and Skill also performed almost as well with the...
What is this guy's best video ever?
I never leave home.